Now do I have sound? Now do I have sound? Check 1, 2. There we go. All right, we have sound. Now I can mute that. Very, very low. Interesting. Why would it be very, very low? Because I don't have... Jeff, say something.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
Yeah, you are
Good evening.
substantially louder than I am for some reason.
I'm sorry.
So
I apologize.
I'm going to turn up me.
My wife says I'm too loud.
Everybody says you're
Often.
too loud. All right, so I don't know. All right, so start streaming on Dementia Radio, and then recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast, brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey, Devo Spice.
Hey, Luke Ski.
We've got Jeff Whitmire in the house. Yay.
Hey, everyone.
Hi,
How you doing?
Jeff Whitmire in the house. Welcome to episode 558 of the Funny Music Podcast. It's harvesting your brain again. No reason. And it has nothing to do with horror. Jeff and I were talking horror before the show started. So
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing to do with that. Just random crap that pops into my head because that's the way my brain works. So let's do this whole catch-up thing.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke failed and didn't show up.
Hey, what?
Oh, he's right.
So, Luke, what you been up to?
Going to the dentist way more than I would prefer to be going. What else have I been doing? I recorded an episode of Tony Goldmark's podcast, Escape from Vault Disney. He is gonna he had a big kind of, what's it called? What's the basketball thing called? March Madness. He basically had that kind of a poll, having people guess on potential topics for what a whole month of episodes could be on for Escape from Vault Disney, and the winner was Muppet Month. So excuse me. So we had the first episode, and I won't say what wins, but I will say that one of the other guests was Grant Pachoco of Throwing Toasters, who has worked on Jim Henson Productions before as a puppeteer. So it'll be really cool once all of this stuff starts, or once it gets posted. Anyway, yeah. So all 5 of the episodes coming out in the month of March will be, Muppet and Muppet related properties. Jim Henson Company related properties that are available on Disney Plus. So you have all of that to look forward to. Cool. Let's see. Carrie had a Zoom birthday party on Saturday night. That was fun, just hanging out and playing Jackbox games. And we had the...
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't make it to that. We were doing lots of stuff, and I was very, very exhausted when we were done. So I was like, I'm sorry, I can't, and just crashed.
Let's see, we had the last MarsCon meeting, and we also had a kind of a tech MarsCon meeting, and something that has to do with that I'll mention during Funny Music News. But yeah, that's about it. What have you been up to since last week?
I don't know. What do you want from me? Let me see. I got my COVID shot. I got my first COVID shot the other day, so that's a good thing. I've been working on the tech for my streaming so I can actually perform like live concert streams on Twitch and stuff. And I think I finally figured it out. I figured out I need to set up like a virtual sound device in my computer, route my microphone and my backing track to the sound device, and then bring the sound device into OBS, and that allows me to perform without lag between my vocals and the backing track. So yeah, well, I'm almost there.
Can you do like a YouTube tutorial on how you set that up by any chance? Or...
I can, and actually, there's one out there because that's how I figured it out. There was a guy,
Okay.
I don't remember his name. I can find the video again and send it to you if you want. But there's a guy who plays guitar, sings, and has a backing track, and he has it all in sync and performs. So
that's all. That's what I found out early on in the quarantine, was trying to do like a live stream with a backing track is just a nightmare.
Yeah.
So,
it
if
is.
there's a better way to do that, I'd love to know it. Yeah.
It is. And I recorded and released a new episode of The Insider, which came out today, where I finally talk about the results of my top 50 poll. That's available on devospice.com or on your favorite podcatcher. I missed January just because the month got away from me, and it just, things happened. So Jeff, what have you been up to?
I've been farming. So this year my plan is to release 2 albums and an animated video. So I'm releasing an album of all horror movie parodies, which of course started with the whole Zoom thing, and that kind of snowballed. So doing an album of horror movie parodies, and I'm doing an album of originals using these 2 things that I started learning in quarantine. So I've been filming, and I was trying to split the difference between doing originals and doing parodies. So yeah, it's been a busy month. Not a lot of sleep.
So you're actually going through with
songs.
Yeah, you're actually going through and completing FuMP. I gave up a while ago.
I'm on 12 songs right now with the weekend coming up, and so I should have finished it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
You'll be good.
I mean, it's definitely. I mean, I think when you're trying to balance the job and the kids and everything, and also do 14 songs, it's hard to find that solid time to do that. So it's usually a lot of late nights, but.
Yeah, for me, it was more like, there's the job, there's the kids, and then there's the FuMP and the FuMPCast and FuMPFest and all the other stuff I got going on, and I'm like, I'm like, I can crap out 14 songs if I really want to, but then I'm gonna have 14 crappy songs, and it's gonna be a waste of time. I have more important things to do, and I got 2 songs done, and then I gave up. So.
I saw that. Yeah, you did. You posted too. Yeah.
Yep.
I always worried about that too. I'm like, am I doing anything good just because I'm trying to rush something out? But I mean, I tend to put like a lot into it. So if I have an idea and I think it's a good one, then the next thing I know, I can't just come down to an audio. I got to start doing harmonies, and I got to start layering it. And so yeah, every demo becomes like a full on production. But next thing I know, it's 3 a.m. and I got to wake up for work.
I know that feeling.
Well, but the song tonight was from the FuMP, so I guess that worked out pretty well.
Yeah, so that's a good segue as any. Give us a good intro to this song, and we'll give it a listen.
Okay, so the song tonight is MAGA Maggie, which is one of my FuMP songs this year. It was not one I was planning on doing, but the challenge was to write a song with someone's name in the title, and which I don't think I've ever done. But I was just walking through the grocery store, and this idea came into my mind, and it's about that beloved person that we all know on YouTube that doesn't like fact checkers.
All right.
On Facebook, sorry. On Facebook.
Here is MAGA Maggie by Jeff Whitmire.
We're storming the Capitol. It's a revolution.
Hey Maggie, don't you get me wrong, but here we are singing that same old song. I tweet WandaVision is a real great show, but you bust a thread about hating Joe. Hey Maggie, just hear my plea. I can't stand another conspiracy. Now you're gone, it seems you've had enough. Guess you got a little fear of facts and stuff. Hey Maggie, what you gotta say? You gonna get another 8 fact checks today? Even though it's over, you're still posting on. Well, I've heard you've gone full QAnon. Hey Maggie, screaming it was stolen. Well, you took your little tantrum to the Capitol and thought you were a rebel when you joined the fray. I guess nobody warned you about pepper spray.
All right, so I played the video for this song, and I don't know if there's a difference between what's up on YouTube and what's up on the FuMP. I know the one on the FuMP doesn't have the intro with the woman complaining. that there
No,
was
the
a
YouTube video
revolution.
just has that extra little,
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Right.
if that was the only difference.
Yeah, but there's no
or
other
not.
difference besides that.
Okay.
No, so this one was weird because it went through a crazy ride because when you're doing the FuMP, you're pretty much just posting demos.
Yeah.
Unfinished songs. So you're just putting up demos with the intention that maybe someday after February you'll get to them, which I didn't do last year because pandemic. So the idea is you're just posting up demos, which this is the first year I'm actually doing that, which has been a crazy amount of fun. So the version on the FuMP was just me playing on guitar, and Dr. Demento played it on his show. And I was like, wow, that was weird.
So he pulled it right off of FuMP?
He played the demo, yes. He played the demo from the FuMP on his show.
Oh, cool.
That was just the demo. I was like, oh, that's not even finished, but that's cool. But then when it kind of got that ball rolling, I was like, oh, I got to do something with it. And I'm like, I don't want to spend too much time trying to do studio versions during February because there's already enough going on.
Right.
But I did reach out to Chris Mezzalesta, who did Twitter Anxiety this year for me, my acapella song. And he did the mix for that. And I was like, can we do something with this? He's like, I have an idea. And he came up with this like idea of basically he turned it into like this bombastic ska song. And I was like, at the first time I heard it, I was like, that's freaking amazing. So yeah, he added all the percussion and the horns to it and everything. And I'm like, cool. So that's the version that's on the FuMP and YouTube.
Cool. Yeah, it came out very cool. And yeah, Chris does amazing work. That's my standard reaction to anything Chris does for me is like, holy crap, this is amazing.
Right. Yeah, I was driving to get my son one night to pick him up, and that's when like I saw it came up. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll listen to this. And I practically got into a traffic accident because I'm like, oh my god, this is so good.
Nice.
Yeah. So. But yeah, I mean, it was I don't think I would have written it normally. I was kind of doing a lot of health kind of stuff about but the first half of the FuMP was going to be really personal originals, not even all comedy. I was going to do songs about being OCD and leaving C and that kind of thing. It was going to be a little more serious. I did a song about Elisa Lam. Those were the things in my head, but the idea popped up in the FuMP. Write a song with someone's name in the title. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And I'm walking through the grocery store. I supervise a group home, so I have to go grocery shopping every week. And I'm walking through the store, and I'm thinking about like some people I know. I don't know if I should mention any names, like my wife's friend on Facebook, who blocked me, but because I fact check. And I was just thinking about all these ideas. I was thinking about the Elizabeth from the Capitol and everything. And I just started singing the chorus. I was like, hey, Maggie, what you gotta say? You gonna get it? I was like, oh, I kind of like that. That's a cute little hook. And then, so yeah, I just, I rushed. It was one of those days you guys can relate. I rushed home. I'm like, I need paper now.
Yeah.
And I rushed home and just started jotting down the lyrics for it.
I tend to use the voice recorder app on my phone. Just the voice. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
Voice memos, I think, or something. I
didn't want to do that in the middle of Giant though.
Oh, I've done it.
Yeah. Or I'll turn on the camera and I'll just. I was like, do I want to do like just be in the middle of Giant going, hey Maggie, what you gotta say? You gonna get another? I don't know. In my area, that might not have gone well. About 5 people without mask on would have been like, what?
Right.
You talking to me? My name's Maggie.
No, very cool. So
yeah, I don't like to get very political, but it was more related to just generally, just people that I know online that mess up my day.
I've been tempted to write songs about those people on my Facebook feed, but I've been more tempted to just block them, and that's kind of what I've been doing. So
right, and that's normally what I would do, and I wouldn't normally do that, but I figure it's FuMP, so you're just thinking, okay, I have an idea, I'm gonna write it.
Yeah,
I didn't expect it to get played. I didn't expect Dr. D to play it on his show. So,
well, it came out very cool,
that
and,
was that was,
I hope he
thanks,
plays
appreciate
the
that.
final, Mezzalesta mix version, because it's kind of a rocking tune.
Yeah, I put it on his on the Facebook site, so hopefully he sees that. I tagged him in it.
Well,
Hey,
he'll
by
see
the
it on the
way,
FuMP
you
if
know,
nothing
here's-
else too.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So how is FuMP going otherwise?
It's going good. I'm at song 12 as of last night with 3 days left. With 2 solid ideas. Like I said, I spent the first 7 songs doing all originals, pretty much all played on guitar, which has been really cool for me because I just learned guitar in quarantine. I've always wanted to play my own stuff. So, and the stuff from last year, which I'm really happy with, which are a lot of that's gonna be on the original album. I want to be able to play my stuff on guitar. So I learned. I'm like, let's try this. And so for the first 7 songs, I did that. With 2 collabs with a friend of mine, Gail, who does a lot of kind of quirky, nerdy music. And then I wasn't gonna do parodies. I said no parodies this year, but then I realized I have to do the 2 albums. So let's spend the second half of the FuMP doing the horror movie parodies. So I've just been doing that. I did one for His House, which was a really great movie from last year.
That was a very good movie. Yes.
And one of probably my favorite horror movie of last year. I did a Final Destination one. To Celebration by Kool and the Gang. I did a little song called WandaVision,
which I played on Manic
which I'm
Mondays
really
this
happy
week.
with, which Devo played, which is the second one that got played as a demo, which I'm like, I gotta get studio versions of these now.
Well, I played it like with the caveat that this is, was written for FuMP, so it's, it's a quick, easy version.
But you get that, but I do sometimes feel like you have to, like, if you're posting things like FuMP songs on Facebook, sometimes I realize that a lot of my friends and family that aren't really music people, you have to be reminded these are demos.
Yeah.
These are not these are just me in the basement singing,
Yeah, I get that, because a lot of like non-creative people will think it's supposed to be the final product. It's like it's hard to show a sketch to somebody and explain to them what the final piece is going to look like. I've been through that.
That's the double-edged sword of like posting FuMP demos. Like this is just something I whipped up last night at 12 in the morning in my basement. It's gonna be better.
Yeah. Cool. So, shall we talk about horror movies for an hour and a half?
Absolutely. Get me started. I've been on a lot of horror movie podcasts since last year.
Have you really? That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Ever since Zoom came out, especially. Like once Zoom came out, and I've always been a horror fan. I didn't realize and then I was been a follower of Shudder, and I watched like the Joe Bob's show, and most of my Twitter followers are probably friends are horror fans because I watched the last drive-in with Joe Bob and Darcy and do the live streams. But when Zoom came out, like people were like, "Come on our show, talk." So I've got a lot of friends that are podcasters. So I've got a 2-hour one on Sunday. The guys basically told me just plan on 2 hours, and we're talking about you'll appreciate this, Devo, probably. We're talking about the movie House.
Oh, nice.
I had just watched 2 months ago. I was like, man, I remember watching that movie, and it was just cheesy 80s fun, William Katz. And I posted about it, and the guy from the podcast was like, oh, we're actually going to do that and talk about the social commentary. Do you want to come on? And I'm like, abso-freaking-lutely, I do.
For some reason, I just recently showed my kids the scene from House 4 with the pizza. And
the pizza face.
The pizza face. And I don't remember why. I don't remember how it came up or why. But that was great.
That's a hard movie to find, I found out. I watched 1, 2, and 3 on Vudu.
Well, there is no 3.
There is a 3.
Well, 3 was called The Horror Show?
The Horror Show, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's technically.
Yeah, it wasn't branded as House 3 unless they went back and did it retroactively.
They did do it retroactively.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it does say like House 3 or something on it, or like part of the House series. But
okay.
1, 2, and Horror Show are in 3, but 4 is like nowhere to be found.
Oh wow, that's weird.
Except for YouTube, yeah.
The pizza scene is on YouTube, so you can see Kane Hodder dressed up like a pizza and attacking somebody.
Anytime you can see Kane Hodder dressed as a pizza, you need to jump on that. Anytime you can see Kane Hodder, period. You need to...
For the layman in the crowd, Kane Hodder is the guy who played Jason on Friday the 13th, starting at part 7, so 7, 8, 9, and Freddy versus Jason.
6, wasn't it, I think? think he started at 6.
Might be 6. I thought it was 7, but somewhere in there. But he is like the definitive Jason Voorhees. So.
Oh yeah. Until Freddy versus Jason, and then they booted him.
Yeah, then they kicked him out, which was a shame. I'm almost surprised they didn't kick out Robert Englund. From that. I'm almost surprised they didn't kick out Robert Englund from that movie. The way that production was handled.
You can't kick out Robert Englund.
I know, but.
Which is probably one of the coolest celebrities I've ever met. I have to tell my son that all the time because he's like, he's kind of in that borderline phase where he's like, horror is real and I don't want to watch it. And he's like, Nightmare on Elm Street is so scary. I'm like, I met that guy. He's like, what? I'm like, I met Freddy, like without the makeup and everything. Like a really nice guy. He's like,
he was, yeah. I met him at a convention years ago. Really nice guy.
Actually, another cool one, a recent one is I've talked about this because I just did my Final Destination parody. I love the Final Destination series. Anyone who knows me knows I'm obsessed with Final Destination. And I don't know why it happened, but my son, Jeffrey Reddick, the original writer of Final Destination, followed me on Twitter and posted my YouTube channel out of nowhere. I was like, what just happened there? And I'm like, we're jumping around the house. I'm like all excited. And my son goes, why are you so excited? I'm like, it's Final Destination. He's like, oh, I'm like, okay. He's 11 years old. I'm like, we're going to watch it. And I mentioned it on Twitter that my son was going to watch Final Destination. And I get a DM from Jeffrey Reddick. He's like, what's your son's name? And I'm like, Kevin. And we're about 15, 20 minutes into Final Destination. I get a DM from Jeffrey Reddick. It's a video of him saying, Kevin, I want you to know you've got a really awesome dad. He's showing you a great movie, but it's all fake. I can tell you this because I wrote it. And I'm just sitting, my son's like going like kind of, cool. I'm like sitting here melting. I'm like, Jeffrey Reddick.
That's awesome.
I was geeking out. That was a cool night.
When I met Robert Englund, it was at Fangoria's Weekend of Horrors years and years ago. And he was there and they had everybody, line up. He was in a big auditorium room with probably 700 or 800 people in it. And they were lining up to do autographs. And so they did autographs by row, starting at the front of the room. And he, people are signing autographs. He's posing for pictures. They're talking, telling stories, and it's taking forever. And I'm in the back of the room. And the host was like, okay, we need to get this moving because he's got a plane to catch, yada, yada, yada. And the host kept rushing people. And Robert just insisted on taking all the time with people and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he actually missed his flight to make sure that everybody in that room, including me, got an autograph.
Yeah.
So I was so impressed with that. So I have his autograph in my scrapbook and, the Freddy stuff. It's awesome. So yeah, great dude.
Very cool. It's one thing I try and tell people that are like, have a lot of misconceptions about horror and fans and the type of movie and everything. I'm like, I don't think you're going to meet a nicer group of people than you will in the horror community. Like just the actors and how they interact with you on Twitter and everything. Like the host crew are some of the coolest people and they're so supportive. Like if, you like when I posted Zoom, they were retweeting it and everything. But yeah, just a really fun community.
Yeah.
Definitely, if you're a horror fan out there, if you're listening, jump on board. Talk to them on Twitter. Tony Todd, who's Candyman, is like amazing on Twitter.
I haven't met him. I met Doug Bradley, who's Pinhead.
Hellraiser. Yeah.
Pinhead from the Hellraiser movies. He great guy, really nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's the guy in front of me in line to get the autograph actually made like a ceramic bust of Pinhead and had Doug Bradley sign it, and Doug was just beside himself. He was like, "This is the coolest thing ever."
Yeah. Oh, I did. I met Tony too, though, and he was phenomenal. But it was funny because everyone was like, "Sign my Candyman, sign my Candyman." Of course, I walk up with my Final Destination poster. I'm like, sign my Final Destination. I know you're in one scene, but
nice. All right. So, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Yes. If you want to keep an eye on my YouTube channel, Jeff Whitmire 47. As the FuMP's been going on, I've been trying to get things posted there, MAGA Maggie, and I keep an eye out for WandaVision. I'm really hoping this weekend. If you haven't heard WandaVision, it came out really solid, and I'm really proud of it. But keep an eye on that, and also my Bandcamp page, jeffwhitmire.bandcamp.com. Over the next couple months, my plan is to get 2 albums out of originals and parodies. So keep an eye out for that. And on Twitter, Jeff Whitmire1, at Jeff Whitmire1. Follow me, and I love to interact with people. So.
All right. So we're going to move on to the news. You sticking around, or you taking off to work on FuMP?
I will stick around.
Okay, cool. All right, let's do some news.
The world's longest running comedy music concert series is coming from inside your house.
Wow, that went to a dark place.
Virtual MarsCon 2021 is taking place online for free on March 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Hi, MarsCon!
This year's event will have live stream performances by The Great Luke Ski, Devo Spice, Worm Quartet, Insane Ian, TV's Kyle and Linzilla, Ilnage, Beth Kinderman, Tom Smith, Throwing Toasters, Amy Englehart, an AMA interview with Ookla the Mop, and this year's music guest of honor, Robbie Ellis. We'll also be doing a virtual Q&A with the man who has been playing drums in Weird Al Yankovic's band for over 40 years, John Bermuda Schwartz. Drum solo! For info on how to watch, go to MarsCon.com. And for info on the comedy music track, go to MarsConComedy.com.
And do watch out for flying lobsters.
Thanks for listening, funny music fans, and I hope to see you all at Virtual MarsCon 2021.
Time for funny music news. Something, something, something.
In the news. News. Devo Spice announced the results of his top 50 poll. I go through this in detail on my on my podcast. I just want to run down really quick the top 10, just because I think people might be interested. So there are a bunch of ties. So tied at number 8, well 8, 9, and 10, is Platform Wars, We Want the FuMP, and Weird Al Didn't Write This Song. Tied for number 6, we have The Geeks Come Out at Night and Devo, Are You Shoebox? Number 6. Number 5, we have Snack Bar. Tied for number 3, we have Dinky McDiddly Boots and Spider-Verses. And tied for number 1, we have I Am the Doctor and In the 80s. And I say on the podcast, I was expecting those two songs to be, close to the top. I was not expecting them to be number 1. I figured like Spider-Verses or Dinky McDiddly Boots or even Snack Bar might be number 1. Was not expecting Devo Are You Shoebox to come in as high as it did. So that was fun.
Well, first of all, my main comment would, of course, be I'm in 5 of those top 10 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I had a thought and then it just disappeared from my brain.
It'll come back. The Gothsicles Kickstarter is officially over. They ended with a grand total of $8,293, so congratulations. The digital version of the album has already been released to backers. The general public, I believe, can get it starting tomorrow. And the FuMP February newsletter went out the other day, talking about things like MarsCon, the comedy music spreadsheet we put out, new videos, and more. If you're not on our mailing list, you can read it online at tiny.cc/FuMP0221 for February of 2021. tiny.cc/FuMP0221. All right, you got any MarsCon updates for us?
The main thing with MarsCon, all right, I'm gonna mention something that basically I'm trying to avoid, but the hell with it. This has nothing to do with MarsCon. If you saw a Facebook post I did complaining about dental stuff, one of the things that happened to me this week was I was supposed to go in and get a new crown on one of my teeth, and they had a temporary crown there while the other crown was being the new. They were replacing an old crown that was like very old. It was like from before I moved out to California old, so it'd been in there a long time, and they were replacing it. So I was supposed to go in and get that replaced, but when they got it, they said that they felt something was wrong with it, like it wasn't perfectly lined up with whatever, so they needed to send it back to get it fixed. So send it back to the place where they get the crowns made to have them do whatever they need to do, adjust it and make it super perfect, because obviously it's going to be part of my head, so they want it to be perfect. But since they didn't figure that out until they took the temporary tooth out, and they had to destroy like the temporary tooth in the process of doing that, rather than like give me a new temporary tooth, they just kind of sealed up the spot where everything's going to be, and was just like, well, we'll just give you a call when the thing's ready. So basically, for the immediate time being, I'm missing a tooth in the front of my goddamn face. So it's like,
Yay.
So basically, it's and the white thing there is like the amalgam stuff that they put over the spot to like everything's fine with it. They're just covering it up so no like food or nothing else gets in there to mess it up.
Yeah.
But now it's just embarrassing that that I don't have this tooth there, and I've been sitting here. That's the main reason I wasn't talking much during Jeff's interview is because I'm just like self-conscious about it. So it's like, screw it, I'm just gonna mention it because
well, you can't really see it on camera while you're talking.
Mm-mm.
I mean, when you smile, obviously we could see it, but just you talking, it generally can't see it. So,
which is why I'm glad that this happened at the perfect time in the history of America, where everywhere I go I have to wear a mask on my face, so
right?
I don't have to worry about it. But anyway, it's one of the many aspects of the past week that just made me particularly angry, because I've been at the dentist 3 times in the past 18 days, and I'm going to have to go at least once, if not twice more, in the next, like, between now and MarsCon. The good news is that unless something heinous happens, they'll all be, taken care of by the time MarsCon happens. They'll have to be on camera pretty much all day, all 3 days.
So
anyway,
it'll be taken care of.
About MarsCon is that so we need some volunteers. It would need to be a person who is willing to. We need somebody who has OBS. What does that stand for again, Devo?
Open Broadcast System, I think.
Yes. If you have an open broadcast system set up on your computer, the MarsCon Dementia Track needs volunteers for each of the 3 days. Friday, it's a 3-hour, well, just over 3-hour span of time. Saturday is a just over 4-hour span of time, and Sunday is a just over 3-hour span of time. And the way the tech is working is the programming and stuff for the MarsCon Comedy Music Track programming. People are going to be doing their concerts coming into my Zoom, and also a handful, a couple of others will be there kind of as live audience people, and then a person who is basically the volunteer I'm looking for is also going to be in that Zoom, so that they can have their screen broadcasting what's happening in my Zoom from their computer onto the convention's main page YouTube feed, so that basically I have my computer handling the processing of running the show, and then somebody else's computer is handling the processing of streaming it onto YouTube, so that it isn't my computer doing both of those things, and also I don't have an OBS set up. So basically, we need someone who's going to be willing to hop on and be the person who is streaming that YouTube feed, the Zoom feed onto YouTube for that duration of time for each of the 3 days. One for Friday, one for Saturday, one for Sunday. If you want to do it more than once, if you want to do it all 3 days, that's great. I thank you, and I'll try to figure out a way to repay you for your volunteerness. But basically, I need you to get a hold of me, ASAP, and let me know if you are, willing and able to be one of those people for us, and which days you would be available. And if you need to know what the exact times are those days, go to MarsConComedy.com and click on the schedule page. And the main schedule that's listed there is in the Central Time Zone, but there's a link there you can click on to see what the schedule is in the other U.S. time zones, so you can know exactly when we need you to sign on. And also, if possible, we'd want you to come to a kind of a tech dry run rehearsal to make sure that everybody knows how everything's going to work. And so again, looking for people with OBS who are willing to be our Zoom to YouTube streamer person for each of the 3 days, etc. So yeah, email me thegreatlukeski@gmail.com. And for everybody else, we've kind of figured, they've been trying to decide the best way to do things over at MarsCon Central. And as I just said, there's going to be a YouTube feed. What they're actually doing is setting up 2 YouTube pages. One will be MarsCon main stage, and the other one will be MarsCon panels. And so all of the comedy music track stuff is going to happen on the MarsCon main stage streams, and the chunks of time that are the comedy music track are going to be, they aren't going to break it down into like each individual concert. It's just going to be like the whole 3-hour or the whole 4-hour thing. And for each of those, they're going to pre-schedule the live streams so that before the convention happens, we will know what the link is for that live stream. So we don't have them yet, but once I do have them and I know that they're set and official, I will be posting them so that everybody knows exactly where to tune in for when the stuff happens. So basically, it'll be on YouTube, and everyone can hang out on YouTube and watch. And there's also going to be, YouTube already has a chatting feature, so I'm not sure if people would prefer to use that, or there's going to be a Discord set up for MarsCon. People might want to chat there instead. That's kind of secondary to just figuring out all the video stuff, but it's a thing. So more details on that as it all gets worked out in the 2 weeks left up to when we actually do this mother. So yeah. Oh, and as long as we're having a moment here, let's do an unboxing video, because I think this might have to do with making this podcast better. So my brother Michael, I think this is from him. He sent me a box, which I already opened. Oh, look. It's an MXL 770.
Nice.
Microphone, which shockingly seems to be like literally the exact same model as this microphone that I've been using for years. I don't know where he found this. But so I guess after the show I'll be able to take this out and put it in here and see if it works better than this one, because as you all have probably seen a bunch of times, either the microphone has something unsoldered that's broken loose that makes this thing disconnect from the XLR cord or something. And my brother Michael, we were doing our family Zoom meetings, was like asking me a bunch of questions about what microphone do you use, what mixing board do you use, and I'm like, he'd always ask me this stuff when I was in the middle of an ease shift and I couldn't answer any of his questions. So yeah, that was super nice of him. So hopefully future FuMPcasts will be better for everybody, or
Sweet.
at least better for me and Devo. So there you go.
All right, tour dates. On Sundays on YouTube, Escape from the Secret Lab featuring Dr. Pinkerton. On Thursdays online, Steve Goodie. On Fridays online, Carla Ulbrich. On the 5th on Zoom, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. That is a stand-up comedy show. And on the 6th on Zoom, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. That is a musical comedy show. Go to philjohnsоncomedy.com for free tickets and more information about these shows. And on the 12th on Zoom, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. And then on the 12th through the 14th, online on YouTube, MarsCon.
Yay!
All right, birthdays. Coming up tomorrow, February 26th, is me, my birthday. Oh, yeah. And on
Happy
March
26th.
Thank you. On March 2nd, Phil Johnson, we just mentioned. And on the 3rd, Seamonkey. So happy birthday, guys. All right.
Woo-hoo.
Speaking of me, I did a song based on a whole bunch of goings-on Reddit, because I spend way too much time on Reddit. So here is Stonks Only Go Up by Devo Spice. Nothing but rockets, they only go up, only go up, only go up, only go up. Stonks only go up, stonks only go up, stonks only go up. Sometimes they go down, but they only go up. Shorted all the stock, hoping that it fell. But Reddit runs the game, though they can't spell. Diamond hands holding, we ain't never selling. I got 12 shares, I'm the rebellion. Got AMC, Nokia, and GameStop. And watch them go up. Smooth brain apes trying to live the dream. Buy whichever stock makes the best meme. Possibly the dumbest get rich quick scheme. They only go up. They only go up. They only go up. They only go up. Stonks only go up. Stonks only go up. Stonks only go up. Stonks nothing but rockets. They only go up. I'm on Reddit holding Palantir and BlackBerry. We got diamonds for balls, cause it is that scary. Am I a force to be feared when I attack Barry. I just YOLO'd the rest of my 401k and we'll see what that brings. You lost 20 billion? Ooh, I bet that stings. My stock's taking off like it got new wings. Going 10 rounds when I hear that bell ring. And it only goes up, and it only goes up, and then it stays up, and then it stays up. And if you ask anybody about the stock, just point to the moon and say, it's all the way up, it's all the way up, it's all the way up, it's all the way up. Stonks only go up, stonks only go up. This isn't advice, don't listen to me, but they only go up. 20 million shares worth of movie pass, cost $35 and it's moving fast, with more kick to it than a smoothie has. But these hedge funds are more devious than head nuns. In 08 failed out, we got the shaft, but if I lose money, the economy don't crash and now your butt hurt. Losing to an amateur money printer goes brrrr. That means it's all the way up. 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 My buddy says I can't go wrong, so I bought Blockbuster. Ooh, we dumb. But they only go up. But they only go up. Go all the way up. Go all the way up. Stonks only go up. Stonks only go up. Stonks only go up. Sometimes they go down, but they only go up. It's all you can eat at the Warren Buffet. So this song has a story behind it. Basically what happened was I had a little bit of money in my E-Trade account, and I told this story on The Insider recently. And last spring, when the pandemic hit and the economy tanked, if you remember, the stock market dropped about like 30% or something within a couple of days. I was like, you know what? Now's a good time to buy. And I took that little bit of money and I put it into an index fund just so, because I knew it was going to go back up. And then last fall, I discovered the Wall Street Bets community on Reddit, who are a bunch of weirdos who YOLO money they can't afford to lose at whatever stock makes the best meme. And some of them have made a lot of money doing this. And one guy posted that GameStop had been shorted a lot, like 160% of the stock had been shorted, because the hedge funds all thought that GameStop was going to go out of business, and the stock was going to drop. And if it dropped, they were going to make money. Well, because they had shorted 160% of the stock, that meant that when they had to cover the shorts, the demand outstripped the supply by quite a bit, and the price started going up. And so this made sense to me, and I bought some GameStop. And I bought, what did I buy? 8 shares. It came out to like $160 investment. So I wasn't throwing a ton of money at this or anything. And then it just started going up and up and up and up and up. And then it spiked. And it broke $400 at one point. And then it like wildly going up and down. And then I sold when it hit it was like $216, I think, when I sold. So I turned my $160 investment into $1,600. So I did pretty good.
That's awesome.
So I've been reading Wall Street Bets a lot, over and I was like, these people, they made me some money. The least I could do is get them a song. And then I stumbled upon All the Way Up by Fat Joe. And I just kind of put the two of them together and just was walking around going, stonks only go up. Because that's like the mantra is stonks only go up. And then when I came up with the line, sometimes they go down, but they only go up, I thought that was really funny. And I was like, okay,
love that line.
Now I'm going to do it. Because there's this thing on Wall Street Bets where people post what they call loss porn, where people will post their losses, especially if it's like a lot of money. And, so people will say, oh, these guy's doing it right. Buy high, sell low. That's the way to do it. This guy lost $85,000. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, Jesus.
Wow. Imagine having so much money that you can, that you can have something like that happen, and you're just like, lols.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's like, oh, well, $250,000, whatever, But
I recently said that about the money thing. I know it's kind of related, but not. But I was watching Pawn Stars, and I said I want to have enough money in my life where the Stars offer me like $5,000 for something. I can say, you know what? Now keep it in the family.
yeah.
We'll just keep it.
So the people on Wall Street Bets have kind of their own lingo that they use for a lot of stuff, and I use some of it in the song. Diamond hands is what they call people who hold the stock, regardless of what happens, and you know they're doing that now with GameStop because GameStop is still overly shorted, and a lot of people have bought GameStop, so they're telling you just hold it, diamond hands strong, just hold it. The opposite of that is paper hands for people who sell at the first sign of trouble. I didn't mention that in the song, but there's also tendies, aka chicken tenders, aka money you made from the stock. And then stonks, obviously. Stonks only go up. They like to post with a lot of rocket emojis and things like that, and then they'll do the diamond hands emojis. So a lot of times they'll go money printer, go burr, all the way to the moon, all the way to the moon, all the way up, you know. So that was kind of what inspired that. They refer to themselves as idiots, stupid people, smooth-brained apes is what they like to call themselves. They also call themselves retards, which I think they do because it's an acronym, not an acronym, anagram of traitors. But I didn't want to use that in the song because it was going to be heard outside of Wall Street Bets, and I didn't want to go there. And what else do they do? There's a whole website dedicated to this. That's right.
Yeah, it's like I kept thinking of the movie, the animated film, which is one of the best animated films of that year, one of the funniest. There's a movie that Warner Brothers Animation did called Storks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I just kept thinking, like, in my mind, I keep picturing, like, you know, like a movie poster parody of Storks, except it's Stonks. You know?
Yes.
Andy Samberg and Kelsey Grammer in Stonks.
Oh, we like the stock is the other like thing. Oh, and that was the funniest thing is there's a guy on Reddit who a year ago called what was going to happen with GameStop. And he goes by the username Deep Fucking Value. And literally a year ago, he was talking about how GameStop was, and he even said in January of 2021, it's going to take off. And so he bought, I forgot how many thousands of shares at like a whole bunch at like $4 a share, then like another like 30,000 shares at like 30 cents a share, something like that. He managed to get really cheap calls somehow. Dude is now worth millions of dollars because of what's happened. And because of all the shenanigans that were going on, the SEC has started investigating, and there were hearings last week in Congress, and Deep Fucking Value was called to testify about what was happening on Reddit. And so he actually came off fantastic. The dude he's a smart guy, and he knows his shit, and he was one of the few people who you could tell was telling the truth. Because they interviewed the CEO of Robinhood, the CEO of Citadel, and a couple other like big name people. And when the senators would ask, I think his name is Keith, when they asked him a question, they would say, "Okay, did you pump the stock? Yes or no?" And he said, "No. I'm just expressing my opinion." If they said yes or no, he answered yes or no, no problem. The CEO of Robinhood was like, were you trying to manipulate the market? Yes or no? And the guy was like, "That's a very important question, Senator. Thank you for answering that. When I was a boy in Bulgaria, we spent all this time, just going on and completely dodging the question. It was so stupid." But Deep Fucking Value came off like a hero. And at one point, he actually said, he looked right at the camera and he said, "We like the stock." And, and everybody on Reddit just went nuts. So it was great.
It's like I could just picture like confetti and explosions and like air horns, like he said it. He said it. Oh man. And I'm certainly not the first person. I'm probably the last person to have pointed this out, but out of all the companies for this thing to be happening around, the fact that it's GameStop, which is a
Right.
business so well known for, oh, here's a video game. It's, $59.99. Then you come back a week later. Oh, I played and beaten it. Can I sell it back to the store? It's like, oh yeah, $3.
Right.
And so much of their advertising is like, yeah, we buy games back, but they give you like dick all for what that game should be worth.
Yeah, and
so
people on Reddit were joking about that for a while too. It was like something like, "Yeah, I bought the stock for $130 and I sold it for $12." Like, "Oh, just like GameStop." Yeah, that's how they work, So yeah, good times.
Is this song by Fat Joe a recent song?
It's from 2016, I believe. So it's fairly recent. It's a couple years old, but it's fairly recent.
Yeah, I don't recall hearing it before, but per usual, when a song like that comes along, I appreciate it. It's like, because I try to do this, and you do this too. And a bunch of other fun people do this. When it's a parody of a song that isn't as famous as whatever Bohemian Rhapsody,
Right.
It's like, I'm going to put a link to the music video or whatever of the song in my FuMP description, so those who haven't heard it yet, if they want to, can hear the original before they hear my parody. So yeah, it's like when I got to this, I'm like, okay, let me hear this song first, and then I'll listen to Devo's. So yeah, it's just excellent work.
Thank you.
I think that's always a good sign of a really solid like yours, though, because I hadn't heard the song either, but I love the song, and I think when a parody's done that well, you don't even need to know the original. I encounter that all the time because most of the songs I parody, my wife has never heard of. So.
Yeah, ideally, you want the parody to be able to stand on its own, even if even if people have never heard the original. But for the people who've heard the original, they'll get a little bit more out of it.
Right.
So the funny story with this song is MC Lars parodied All the Way Up as well. His song is called Jabba the Hutt, and it's available on his YouTube channel. And so as I've done with some other songs when other artists have parodied the same song, I approached Lars and I'm like, hey, can I pay you half of what you paid your producer and use your music? And he was like, let me just put you in touch with the producer just to make sure he's okay with you using the same music. I was like, okay, fine. So he gave me the producer's name, contacted the guy, and it turns out he didn't have that music anymore because he lost it all in a hard drive crash.
Oh, man.
So he was like, I can recreate it for you. Sure, no problem. So he redid the music for me again and did a fantastic job. So I will definitely be using this guy in the future. So I actually think mine sounds a little bit better than Lars's. So as far as the music goes.
Lars had the practice track. You got the
original.
Right.
All right, so yeah, I don't have anything else to add about this song. You can check out the top 50 Devo Spice poll at devospice.com/top50 if you want to see the entire results. Or I run down the entire thing and give some commentary on the latest episode of The Insider, so check that out. And I'm online at devospice.com as always. Yay! And keep an eye out for live concert streaming coming soon to a Twitch near you. Probably Monday nights is what we were talking before the show. Okay. I think it's going to be Monday nights because there's nobody streaming on Dementia Radio on Monday nights. And not that I'm going to be casting my audio to Dementia Radio, but I don't want to split the audience. I don't want people to go, do I listen to this guy's show or do I listen to Devo's stream? So I just figured
you had to pick the night I record my podcast, didn't you?
Do you do it live?
Whatever, Devo. Huh?
Do you do it live?
We don't do it live. No,
well, then who cares?
No, man, I don't want to watch yours live, though. That's what I mean. I'm going to be doing something else.
Oh, okay. Well, you can catch the replay.
And I can't watch yours. That's what I meant.
Okay. I can't help you there.
I know. I tried.
All right. Let's do some feedback.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback.
Feedback.
Feedback. That segment of the show we do about now?
Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback.
Draconis alert. Draconis alert. Draconis alert.
Okay, so this feedback actually came in last week from Draconis, but it came in after I updated the script for the show, and I forgot to check for last-minute feedback right before we went on the air. So my apologies to Draconis for not getting this in last week. He actually is asking questions to the people who are no longer here. But Draconis wrote, "This week we have Sergeant Meh and the weekly Goodie report. Newbie, what got you into the funny music? How did you hear of the FuMP? Also, who are your inspirations?" So I apologize, I can't pass those on. Luke, what do you think of the mini console craze, like the Intellivision flashback? And Steve will make an appearance via pre-recorded message. So Luke, the mini console thingy.
I like them. I don't have one, but I like them. I like that they exist.
I do too. I've contemplated getting some, but I kind of don't need to because I still have all my old consoles. Like I can get the NES Mini, but I have an NES right over there, so it's I never bothered. I've thought about getting some of the Atari ones, like the Atari Flashback, I think was their first one, but it's like you can't play Kaboom with a joystick, and they don't give you a paddle. And I'm like, there's certain games you can't play with a joystick. You have to have a paddle, and they don't give you the right controller.
Night Driver.
Yeah, Night Driver. You can't play Night Driver with a joystick.
Right, yeah.
Like.
Yeah, there was a GameCube. Well, it was for other systems too, but I had it for GameCube. There was a game called Intellivision Lives that had like, at least 50 different Intellivision games on it, and that was how I harvested all the sound effects I used to make the backing track for my parents bought me Intellivision.
Oh, okay.
So I technically, have that somewhere amongst all the things I own, but a lot of the things I own are back in Wisconsin. So getting the Intellivision thingy, that he just mentioned, I probably would really dig that if I could find it. So,
all right. So that's all the feedback we got this week. We do have a third song this week. Steve Goodie sneaking in another one because why not? So here is Ted Cruz by Steve Goodie.
Texas water has turned to snow, and that's why Ted Cruz had to go. With his family off to Cancun they went to escape his frozen constituents. And now that he's in Mexico, Americans unite with one call. Right wing and left wing, now we all shout, build that wall, you slimy entitled piece of poop. Go, we hope you plan on staying. And I think we can agree that if Ted's down there, Mexico is definitely paying. Oh, it's cold at night and the stoves won't light. Ted has no heart, why'd you elect him? He's always been a bigoted, treasonous worm. I'm glad United Airlines let him check in. Here's hoping Cancun won't reject him, while AOC raises millions for Texans. Hey, Texas, could you please not re-elect him? Yeehaw!
I'm here again with Steve Goodie. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Tom.
Long time no talk.
It's been so long.
And so long since you just decided you had to have another song up on the FuMP.
Yes, I'm hogging up the FuMP, and then I realized, I wonder whose song gets 2 days less of spotlight because of me. Oh, it's you.
It's fine. It's fine.
Sorry.
Nobody cares. So since this is a song about current events, and since people might be listening to this show years in the future when this, may not have heard of this, tell us what happened that inspired this song.
Okay. Ted Cruz was an asshole, is an asshole, and continues to be an asshole. Oh, you want more than that?
A little more detail.
There was an unexpected storm in the middle of winter, and it hit Texas, and they're not ready for it. And so they got all snowed in, and the power went out across the state, and millions of people were cold and freezing and had nothing to eat and no way to bathe, and everything was frozen. And everyone with a swimming pool, and that's everybody, now had a skating rink. And Ted Cruz chose this moment to go off to Mexico for a little vacation with the family, and then blamed his daughters when he got busted for it.
I saw that. How old are his kids? They're
10-ish. Yeah.
like they're young
Yeah.
kids, and
Yeah,
like,
but his wife was going down there, and it turns out one of his friends was going down also. He wasn't needed to chaperone. It's just stupid.
so his wife and his wife's boyfriend were
Right. That's right.
Is
His
what's
daughters
happening.
and their boyfriends
Right.
and their girlfriends. And yeah.
So he came back pretty much immediately, right? He didn't stay
Yeah.
down there, or did he go back down there?
I don't know. I think he's back because he's in Washington. I heard him talking on the Merrick Garland talks about whether to make him the attorney general. I forget all the words for this stuff. Hearings, the the approval. That
Yeah.
Ted's back making an ass of himself in Washington because he does it in every place he goes.
That's what he does.
That's what he does. And I felt he needed a song that's just a little too long for TikTok. I'm making them shorter and shorter. If I could make it just a little shorter, I could put it on TikTok.
Are you doing a lot of work on TikTok?
No. I had one very long song that I cut up into 8 pieces and put on TikTok, and each piece has gotten about 200 views. Yay, that was a lot of effort. So
Well,
no,
at
I'm not
least
getting
people are watching the whole thing.
A couple did, yeah. Yeah, I might have exaggerated. The first few got a couple hundred, then the last few got 8.
Trails off as they're get the
We
parts
get it.
started.
We get it. And TikTok is so good about making it easy for you to watch things in sequence. I don't know. Is it just me? You have to hunt and hunt and hunt to find the next part of the thing you're watching.
I don't know. I don't use TikTok. I'm not on it.
Ted
I mean,
Cruz.
I have it on my phone, but I don't know how to use it in any way, shape, or form.
I respect that.
The only time I ever use it is when Luke posts a link to something, and I click on the link and it opens in TikTok, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then after that video is done, some random, completely unrelated videos.
Right.
And, I'm
And
like,
if the video you wanted to see had a part 2, can you find part 2?
I've never tried. I don't
Okay,
know.
see, that's what I'm saying.
So this song, is this a parody or is this an original?
It's half and half. It's 3 sections. The first one is kind of a standard Charlie Brown Christmas thing, da 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 da, which I stole.
Right. Okay.
So it's not exactly a parody because then it goes somewhere else. And then the middle part is I don't know what I was. It's felt something like Cheeseburger in Paradise, since I had just done another Paradise song because I'm an idiot. And then the last part is absolutely a parody of Deep in the Heart of Texas.
Yeah, that part I recognized. I didn't know if you had any kind of cohesive theme for the whole thing, or if
Oh, there's nothing cohesive. No, don't be ridiculous. Have we met?
So you basically spending all your time now just coming up with songs that you can barrage people with is what's going on, right?
Yes. Yes. Nothing's changed.
You have nothing else to do in quarantine.
Right. I work on other people's stupid songs, and then when that dries up for a little while, I work on my own stupid songs.
Okay, that's good. And whenever a politician does something stupid that inspires you to do a song,
if it's stupid enough, I will jump in. And Ted Cruz is very dependable. Was it Al Franken that said, what was it? He said, when he was in the Senate, he said, I like Ted Cruz more than most of my colleagues like Ted Cruz, and I hate Ted Cruz.
So since you're putting out so many songs, have you considered doing FuMP, February Album Writing Month?
I've thought about that. I sort of, no, I'm not, short answer, no. Just because when I feel like a burst of some marathon thing like that, then I'll just do it. And I've had things like that. I did a one-day-a-thon several years ago where it wasn't just write an album's worth of songs. It was write and record an album's worth of songs in one day, in 24 hours, see how much I could get done.
Mm-hmm.
And I made it through about 19 hours before I collapsed. And I got 7 songs begun and those beginnings recorded. None of them as they stood was anything I'd want to release, but a couple of them I worked on further later and they became stuff that got released. So, yeah, I think
it's kind of always my thing with these type of marathon things. And I know the point is to get you doing something, but like, I can sit down. I kind of gave up on FuMP this year. I was going to do it. I've written 2 songs, and then I'm like, I have more important things to do. Mostly FuMPFest, and so it's like, well, I could sit down and crap out a song, but then I have a crappy song,
Yeah, that you put a lot of hours into.
Yeah, and I don't know if I want to, waste time on something that's not going to be good enough to release. Or
yeah, the idea of getting yourself doing something, I totally get that, and that's great. I'm already doing things. I never stop doing
I'm kind
things.
of there too. If I need to write a new song, I can write a new song. I don't need, the march of.
There's always more to do. Yeah. Speaking of FuMPFest, how's that looking?
It's coming along. There's not a lot I can do right now because it's still early, other than just general promotion and stuff. So I'm trying to do some of the things that can wait till later but don't have to. So like I've spent the last week or two working on the mobile app, which doesn't need to be released until weeks before the event, but it's basically done. I'm just waiting for one.
How you feeling about whether it'll be a real in-person thing or a online thing?
I'm hopeful still. My father has received both his vaccinations.
Awesome.
It turns out he didn't need the second one.
What, we've got extra vaccinations now?
I've got I'll tell you what happened. I'm getting my shot tomorrow, actually.
Oh, good.
My first one. So I'm hoping that by like July, everyone who wants and needs to be vaccinated will be vaccinated, and we can go forward as planned with the event. We'll see if that happens. I won't know what the situation is actually going to be like until June or July.
You're the first person I know who's not a doctor, who's younger than me that got a vaccination. So congratulations. Well done. I gotta get in line.
So what happened with my father is my father a year ago January, so 2020 in January, took a trip to Myrtle Beach, came back and got deathly ill. Like,
wow.
He was so sick that I was afraid he wasn't going to survive it. And this was right as the COVID outbreaks were starting to pop up in the US, and I was like, I'll bet you he fucking has COVID. I'll bet you he has it. And my mother got sick too, but not nearly as bad as my father. My father has a heart condition, he has asthma, and he's in his 70s, so he's very high risk for this type of thing. Thankfully, he's also an excellent doctor, and he has a nebulizer at home. So he was able to treat himself and get through it. Now, we have no confirmation that that was COVID, but we suspect it was.
Because it all went away before there was testing.
If you've had COVID, you only need one vaccination shot. If you get the second one, it kind of wreaks havoc with your immune system. So that's what he's going through right now. Is he's
because he didn't know if he'd had it.
Yeah, we suspect he's had it, and he probably shouldn't have had the second shot because he's already got enough antibodies, and now his body is building too many, and it's kind of doing all sorts of other weird things. And,
wow.
So,
damn. So, I had no idea of any of that. I hope he's. I hope he gets over
okay.
the
He's doing fine, but he doesn't feel well right now, and he's still getting through this.
So that was an educated guess to get the second vaccine, knowing that he might not need it.
No, he didn't. He didn't know that. He didn't know until after he got the shot that if you've already had COVID, you're not supposed to get the second shot. And we have no way of knowing at this point whether or not that illness was actually COVID or whether it was just a flu or whatever, because he wasn't tested for antibodies before he got the first shot. And that's the only way we could have known. So
okay.
We don't know, and we will never know.
So the takeaway is, if you've had COVID, you should get checked for antibodies before you get your first shot.
Yes, and then probably you will only need one shot. And they're saying we're probably going to need booster shots either yearly or
every other yearly. Yes. Yeah,
okay. So that'll probably be a thing going forward. But
yay!
So long answer is FuMPFest. I'm hopeful is still going to happen. I just got the logo approved. I'm going to be posting that to places.
What's the date again?
I don't fucking know.
Early August, late August,
late August, 20th through 22nd, I believe.
Okay,
it's on the website. There's a website.
All right, I got it. Because I'm still hoping for Edinburgh, and if that happens, FuMPFest will be right after it, and I'm hoping I can manage both.
Yes, that's right. Yes, you were supposed to get back to me when you know about Edinburgh.
Yeah, and I don't know yet. I don't know when I'll know. You know how it is.
So yeah, so Steve Goodie is one of the unannounced guests at FuMPFest.
You heard it here first. I'm unannounced.
I'm holding a slot for Steve until he finds out whether or not the Edinburgh Fringe Festival it will be conflicting with FuMPFest dates. So that's what's happening. So as soon as Steve knows, I will know, and then as soon as I know, I'll put it on the website. So
I still have this wish that they just make the Fringe a month later this year. If we could make it September rather than August. Much more likely that the vast majority who need vaccines will have them.
Yeah.
And we can relax. So here's the weather in the UK, though.
I don't know what it's like.
Maybe we could do it in Cancun. Hey,
Ooh, there's a go.
that's very
All right.
fringy.
So do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Nope. Yes, virtualcomedyshow.com. That's virtualcomedyshow.com every Thursday at 8. Exactly when this FuMPCast is happening. That's when you should be at virtualcomedyshow.com. And also stevegoodie.com.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. And
All
we
right.
look forward to the next thing you pop out with.
Thanks.
Probably
It's
next
coming out tomorrow.
No, sorry. Somebody already.
Yeah, right.
For a Sunday slot this week. So.
Fair enough.
All right. Talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a job.
All right. Teasing. Tomorrow's song is by Knuckleheads.
Yeah, woo!
And Tuesday's song is by Brian Woodbury. And we are supposed to have another bonus Sunday slot this week, but it's not posted yet, so we'll see. And
Hey, can I say a couple things about that? Oh, sorry.
Just want to say the next week's Spotify playlist topic is Star Wars. Okay.
Woo!
What are you going to say, Luke?
Star Wars? Why, I enjoy that property. Yes, indeed.
I've never seen it.
This is the way. So regarding the interview with Steve, first of all, asking him if he's ever thought about doing FuM, 14 songs in 1 month. It's like, isn't that every month for Steve?
Pretty much, yeah. I think so.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. And the other thing was, I would like to claim dibs on the Steve Goodie slot, because if Steve Goodie showing up is a stonk, then I think I'm me paying for that stonk. There's a decent chance he might not show up.
Okay, fair enough.
It's like, look, are there any slots open for MarsCon? Sure, do you want one? Yeah. And then 2 weeks before MarsCon, yeah, I'll let you know if I'm going to be at MarsCon. Wait, what? I'll see if I feel like showing up that day. I'm a busy guy. I'm Steve Goodie. I'm very important. I have living rooms to perform in.
All right. So Steve Goodie is at stevegoodie.com. I am at devospice.com. Jeff, plug yourself one more time.
YouTube channel Jeff Whitmire 47 and jeffwhitmire.bandcamp.com.
I've been meaning to ask you, why 47? What's the significance of the 47?
There really is none. I don't have an answer for that. Just like, I think it was when I was like 12 years old or 13 years old, we were playing a game and I put my number down on 47 and someone said, why? And I said, that's my favorite number. That's it. Like, I think it just literally stuck, and 47 has been my favorite number. So,
all right. As good an answer as any.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get out of here. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
I'm Luke Ski, and look, it's Jeff right there.
Hey, everyone. Good night.
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at dementiaradio.org, and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Shout it to random people on the street. And be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
"Who's been writing Star Wars parodies? It's been Jeff Whitmire all along." And Luke, and also Devo, and all the rest of us.